Alright guys, so I just wanted to make this quick video concerning the blood moon that's coming. I gave a warning about this about 40 days ago, over a month ago, that it was coming over America and mostly Western America there. And I gave a warning, but also what was very interesting about it was that the fact that it goes red at the same time that the throne of God would hit Earth during the passing. Now, obviously the seals haven't happened, so this isn't the passing. And so what's going to happen is the throne's going to hit, and he says, I'll make the sun go down at noon time in Israel, which is 10 a.m. UK time. Which is 4 a.m. sort of America Western time. And so, you know, around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning is when the earth would roll round, the pole shift. God would roll the earth upside down. So around 2 to 3 a.m. US time. And funnily enough, that's exactly when this blood moon is going to go blood red. So I thought it quite amazing that. But here's a point though, because people may look at my prophecies, people may look at my prophecies and say, oh look, the throne's going to hit on the 6th seal, the sun is going to go down at noontime, the sun is going to be darkened, yes, because it goes down at noontime, down, and then the full moon is seen blood red. And here's the misconception that I don't want you to have, and I've never actually taught this, but the fact of it is that it's not going to be a lunar eclipse that we're talking about. Yes, a moon does go blood red on a lunar eclipse, a full lunar eclipse, but that's not. In fact, there's only one video I made, which was my very first video I ever made. And in that, even like I had the misconception that it was on an eclipse. So I'm looking at the next eclipses coming up. So when I made my first video about the seals, so I was just thinking about the video and how it was formatted and stuff, and it's all a big journey though, isn't it? You know what I mean? But 10 years ago, that was, and the misconception in that video I had was that, but actually the video's been sort of blocked from in countries anyway, so I don't even think you can see it anymore through like copyright or whatever. But misconception was, I was thinking it was a total lunar eclipse, i.e. blood moon, which that's not the case. So what is the case? So a little bit after that, I learned about Nibiru, the Throne of God. One thing about the Throne of God is that it has the innocent blood of all the innocent people shed on earth. It flows from the altar, which is in the temple, which is in the throne, which is inside the city actually, and it flows out outside the city, so it goes off somehow from the altar, but it doesn't flow through the city, and flows out like into space, if you like, and flows out into space. And when the earth passes through the tail, we're going to be pelted with fiery hail and blood. And in the 5th seal, before he hits, he says, how long, O Lord, holy and true, do you not avenge our blood on them who dwell on the earth? So you can see how this innocent blood is there, and it gets rained down. So the answer is, the moon, the full moon, the full white moon, is going to go blood red at the first passing of the throne at the sixth seal. Not because it's a total lunar eclipse, but because the tail of the throne of God is literally in our presence. And Caesar wrote a letter concerning the crucifixion, and one of the things he said was that the stars, all the stars, were in luster, and it wasn't like they were given full brightness. And I thought, well, I know why that is. It's because the blood cloud was passing the earth, and the blood cloud was shading the white stars, if you like. So that's why it seemed like they were dimmer than usual, because the blood cloud, because the throne was there during the crucifixion. And so, you know, that's the reason. The moon is going to go blood red at the sixth seal passing, because the throne of God Nibiru, his blood tail, will be passing by. So here's the thing now, you see, is that people may get a misconception and fall asleep now and say, well, Justin, listen, what I got from your prophecy, I got the wrong impression, and I thought it's the total lunar eclipse, a blood moon, is when the throne's going to hit, because the moon's going to go blood red. Right, so that means, Justin, that tomorrow, Tuesday, whatever, the 8th, is it? 10th? I don't know. Tuesday the 8th, the moon's going to go blood red, but that's the last one until 2025. And I had to check the detail as well, because it seemed a bit long, to be honest. But yes, there is not going to be any blood moon, natural, total lunar eclipse until around Passover time of 2025, which is like nearly 2.5 years, man. So there's not going to be any blood moon for 2.5 years. So this means that you can go to sleep now, you can go and be evil and fall away back into your sin, go and do as you please, as Satan commanded, until at least two years, and then you can think about repenting after that, because the throne of God will come only on a total lunar eclipse, yeah? No, this is a time actually where people will fall away like that and go, oh, well, Justin's prophecy was William was going to be king and Charles is king on ritual thingy, but he hasn't actually took the throne, the crown, or the scepter yet. Oh, Justin said William is going to be king, but Charles is. Justin said the throne of God's going to pass over and the moon will turn blood red. Oh, that's the last eclipse now for 2.5 years. Oh, fall away. And it does look that way. You could say, Justin's a false prophet now, isn't he? Well, like I say, no, because one, a misconception. The tail of the throne is what's going to cause the moon blood red. And concerning Prince William, actually, seal number 1, which is beginning of these events, well, beginning of the earthly events, pretty much. Well, anyway, the seal number 1 is when King William, and yes, he will be, I'm sticking to my guns always. Yes, he will take the throne. And that is when seal 1 happens. Now, all this other stuff is just smoke. And in fact, on the other side of the page, if you look at it a different way, I mean, you could actually say that this blood moon coming up now is actually one of the last warnings that we're going to get. We had the tetrad full moons of 14 and 15, Passover tabernacles, 14 and 15. We had a 7-year cycle of repentance, to repent, or to preach, really, because you know, my ministry is in a totally massive more place than it was 7 years ago anyway. So we've had that 7 years to work on it. We've had a 7-year cycle. We've had a Shemitah. We had a Shemitah just now. In fact, the last month was the end of the beginning, who really knows, of the Shemitah year, the 7-year cycle. The market did collapse a little bit, and now it's just held. But the thing is, you'd like 1 month later only, we are getting like a blood moon. as if to say, I don't know, it just feels like you've had forewarnings there, you've had 7 years to work on it, the 7 years are over, and the month after that is like a seal on the envelope to say like, and to not have a blood moon for another 2.5 years ish is just feels like a last warning sign. Do you see what I mean? And especially over Western America, because I mean, I suppose they could be one of them. Well, they actually will be one of the hardest hit people, because when the throne passes, like LA, San Andreas there, or all the way down to San Francisco, all the West Coast will literally be gone by the pole shift. The East Coast, it won't actually maybe not be gone by the pole shift, but La Palma volcano mega tsunami, it comes across the Atlantic at trumpet number 2, which follows right after, will literally just wash and destroy everything away anyway. But if the land doesn't drop on the East Coast, then you know the water will recede. You'll just be left with nothing. No White House either. So yeah, I mean, this could be like a last warning blood moon. Do you get me? Like blood moon 14 and 15. 7 years later, we've had that same cycle through. We've had everything else that's happening now. We've had the Shemitah year, market collapse, which hasn't actually really fulfilled the market collapse that we had after the Queen's funeral. Well, not after the Queen's funeral, but at the very, very time that it should have collapsed, the 23rd of Elul, which I believe was the 19th. The Queen's funeral landed on the 23rd of Elul. The market did collapse like it would do, but it wasn't a massive collapse for you to call it a collapse. It wasn't even a collapse it sort of matched another little collapse that it had earlier in the year. So I don't believe this market collapse and the seal number 3 is market collapse. So I believe that this was just a little precursor getting ready. And like I said, this blood moon now, I think it's a last warning. No blood moon for 2.5 years. In this time that we're in, we're literally teetering on the edge, and maybe this blood moon is the case of last warning. It's on now. So don't fall away for 2 years and think that the throne of God is not going to hit Earth for 2 years because there's no blood moon for another 2.5 years. It's no. It's the throne of God's tail of blood, which makes the full moon go blood red. God bless you all. I'm Pastor Prophet Justin Roberts from End of the Age Bible Prophecy. God bless you. Happy Monday, the whatever it is, 7th.